Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Xfinity Series, Superspeedway Series here on Thursday nights, here on Green, White, Checkered TV. We've got 70 laps in the schedule for tonight at iRacing Superspeedway, the fictitious nearly 3-mile oval, shaped like a paperclip, banked like crazy, really long straightaways, and we have had a lot of great races here already in the brief history that we've been going here in the Area 51 series. Looking forward to tonight's race and getting going through the later stages of the regular season. We are going to pull up a points graphic update here for you now, just so you can see how tight this battle is getting. We've got Kevin Freese in the lead with one win, 5 top 5s and 6 starts with 206 points. Rick Sanchez with his 2 wins, the first repeat winner of the season, has 187 points. Gabe Butler in third with 186, all the way down to a 3-way tie technically for 19th place. Now the tiebreaker right now settled by how many top 5s and then top 10s. So Austin called the advantage over Jack Walls and Dean Wilkinson, but nonetheless the playoff bubble is going to get very tight for the cutoff, which is at 16 points right now, which is currently split by Adam Kilday and Bob Fitzgerald. So it'll be a very tight race as we get into the next few weeks and get ready to ramp up. This will be the 7th start, so next week will be the cutoff for the playoffs, and we'll have 4 races to battle it out in the championship battle here for the first season in 2024. So we've got iRacing Superspeedway here tonight, and then we will move to Talladega next week, which will be the cutoff for the playoffs. We'll have a week off, and then we will have 4 straight weeks of non-stop action in the playoffs here. Looking forward to all that we have going on here and the race tonight as we get ready, just about ready, finishing up qualifying here. And we let my partner Matt Wagner do some admin duties at the beginning of the race here. He'll be here in just a moment, and we'll get his perspective before we get this thing kicked off. I appreciate you mentioning the handsome guy in the booth, Gael. Obviously, you can't see me, but I would definitely agree and appreciate that. Looking forward to a solid night tonight. Alrighty, looks like qualifying has completed, so we'll pull up the grid here. It is Rick Sanchez grabbing the pole position for the 5 machine. He's had a very solid season so far, looking to capitalize with another win tonight. Anthony English is going to be starting to his outside in that number 44 machine. Gabe Butler is going to grab the 3rd starting spot with Bud Steele to his outside. Eric Laurie rounding out the top 5 to start tonight with Jack Walls on the outside of row number 3. Ambrose Kniebel of Blind Squirrel Racing is going to start in the 7th position with Adam Kilday in the 85 to his outside. Carl Lingle and Brandon Paul going to start side by side on row number 5 to round out the top 10. Jimmy Reynolds is there in the 11th position with Jeremy Osborne in the 41 to his outside. And we've got a second page for you. Kevin Freese electing not to qualify. He's going to start in 13th tonight with teammate Brian Wang to his outside. Last week's race winner Maxwell Caldwell rounding out the top 15 for the starting positions with Patrick Groover in the outside lane in 16th. We've got Andrew Pileshi and Seth Groover rounding out the 9th row of our starting grid with Nick Wing and Jim Brooks in the top 20. Jacob Lee in the 21. He's going to start 21st with his teammate Honda Longmire to his outside. And we've got Dean Wilkinson's TW Motorsports machine to the inside of Brandon Briggs on row 12. And we've got one more starter in the field tonight. That is Bob Fitzgerald in the 08, starting all the way in the back. And looking forward to getting this one kicked off. No Matt in the booth yet. Like we said, he'll be joining us in just a moment. We'll see. I don't know if we'll have time for another pre-race pre-interview or pre-winner interview. Obviously, Matt has predicted the winner these past 2 weeks, with 2 weeks ago being the 5 of Rick Sanchez, and last week being the number 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. But we're going to kick off here as the pace car rolls away with that number 5 Chevyland Chevrolet Camaro to the inside. Chevrolet of Anthony English, I believe, making his first start of the season here tonight in that Traxxas Chevrolet. Traxxas and Fox Chevrolet with a beautiful Arctic camo too. "70 laps will be the distance tonight on a fairly treacherous superspeedway here in the virtual world. Obviously, this track does not exist anywhere in real life, only in the sim here in iRacing, born out of the previous company that iRacing was, called Papyrus, and was originally the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, a fun track that they made and raced at and brought back to life now here in the modern day and age. Originally was built, I think, for NASCAR Racing 2003, which Papyrus at the time was the creator of. And we've seen a lot of really fun races so far at this track. We've definitely seen some split strategies and some interesting finishes for sure. And we will have another one here in store for you tonight as we are green flag in the air. Barney the flagman waving that flag. The 5 leading the inside, the 44 leading the outside into turn number 1. We finally found, Matt Wagner. He's made his way to the booth. How are you tonight, Matt?
Yeah, I had a little bit of connectivity problems over here. I've been kind of struggling with trying to get it fixed. But so far, so good.
Ooh, a little wiggle there and into the wall. Looks like for Patrick Groover early on.
I think he blew
like
up.
Some engine damage already.
I think he did a money shift.
Could be.
You kidding?
On the backstretch, potentially shifting from 3rd to 2nd instead of to 4th. And it looks like it's going to be a very early fast repair for Patrick Groover, unfortunately.
Wow. Let me go. Actually, I want to go to his onboard. Yeah, it's quiet. Unbelievable. I can't believe he did that.
Anthony English is going to lead that first lap as he jumps to the bottom in front of the 5 of Rick Sanchez. Mostly single file here. There's a couple cars. Adam Kildee is going to peep out to the outside here. We're in 7th currently. It is the 5, the 44, the 5, the 88, and the 071 with Bud Steele in the top 6. As Anthony English sets the fastest lap of the race that time by.
Well, there goes Patrick. He may lose. Yeah, I think he might go at least 2 down here unless a caution comes out now.
Tried to do all he
could. What
a
tough break for that. Yeah.
Getting back out on track there, but I have definitely done that before, and it is probably one of the worst feelings that you can imagine.
I've done it out in the middle of the field. That's even worse.
I money shifted an MX-5 at Homestead a long time ago and managed to go into 3rd from 4th instead of 5th. So I understand.
Oh, we have a crash.
Oh, we've got a yellow? No, not quite. Green flag still on the speedway, but it looks like Jacob Lee and Hondo Longmire were both involved, the 2 teammates, and it might be recent enough. We can try and rewind and see what happened here. Coming off of turn number 4, the 43 and the 21 involved. Kevin Freese, 25, is slow up top. They just kind of run out of real estate as the 43 drifts up a little bit, gets into the back, and then unfortunately Jacob Lee nowhere to go into the back of the 43. That is going to take out two solid teammates for tonight, as they are both going to make heavy contact on the inside wall
Ouch.
there. And that is going to have to burn a fast repair for both of them, who are now going to be in a similar situation to Patrick Groover, as it does not look like Jacob Lee was actually able to get back. We'll jump
Oh
live
no,
here.
he done. Yeah, he done blew up everything on that car.
So Patrick Groover's back on the track. Jacob Lee, with that hard impact, had to take a tow. Even though he was right at the entrance of pit road, he had to take a tow back to pit road. Honda Longmire able to get the fast repair and is back out on track. It looks like, actually, no, I'm not seeing him being scored at the moment. So Jacob Lee coming out of pit road now, it looks like here. And he's going to be quite a few laps down by the time he rejoins this field. It looks like that'll be an early retirement for Hondo. I'm not seeing him scored anymore.
Meanwhile, back at the front. Oh, we got a three wide situation back there in the back in the second pack. Oh, a little bit scary.
Couple drivers in the mix here, three wide action.
Four wide for a moment.
85 and 18 in the outside row. Settled down to two wide for the moment. The 32 of Seth Groover trying to make the high side work. He's the first one out there right now, but doesn't have a lot of help at the moment. He's going to settle back into the inside lane as we are now single file pretty much all the way throughout. Anthony English continuing to click off laps led at a pretty quick pace here. Rick Sanchez settling for second. Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, and Bud Steele. Same running order as it was the first time we crossed the start-finish line. Second if you count the initial start. But pretty well strung out single file throughout the field here early on.
Wow, that was an interesting start of the race, bud. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you hate to see that for both Jacob Lee and Hondo Longmire. Hondo retiring from the incident, but Jacob continuing on. He is 2 laps down at the moment. Patrick Groover being scored 1 lap down. And I believe Jacob is still by himself as well as Patrick. So both of these guys are eventually going to get swallowed up by the pack, as they're about a half a track behind him, actually more than half a track behind him. So it's going to be a very, very quiet few laps for both Patrick and Jacob as they try to march their way back up through the field at some point. We've got a challenge for the lead. It's going to be the 5 of Rick Sanchez.
Hey, oh my.
No help at the moment, though.
Yeah.
The 32 of Seth Groover is going to try and jump up in there and get him some help in the outside lane, as he tries to square up the bumper and give a push. The 44, the 88, the 071, then the 6 now in the inside lane. Ambrose Kniebel up in the top 5. Seth Groover up 10 spots from his original starting position. Jim Brooks also up 10 spots as well. They are our highest climbers at the moment here. And Seth looking to get a little bit more with the push for Rick Sanchez, trying to make that high side work as Rick makes his way back into the top 5.
Yeah, the 5 and 44 are teammates into a different league that I race in, and I'm quite surprised that Rick made that move there, but I guess he wants to lead a lap for a bonus point. I just kind of unsure about that.
He's got the help right now of Seth Groover as they are trying to make the outside lane work. Anthony English continues to click off laps led. As
They're just using Anthony as a stamp so Gabe Butler can save fuel.
looks like there is some connection issues for a few drivers in the field. We don't see any dropped frames or any issues from the broadcast end, so hopefully that is, well, obviously, unfortunately, it may be their issue on their end, but thankfully for the broadcast at least, it doesn't seem like it's on our end. As we've got a pretty solid train running in the outside lane for now, the 5, the 32 continuing to lead it. Jack Wallace has jumped up there. Looks like Brian Wang is up there as well, and I believe Nick Wing there. Not Nick Wing, that's Jimmy Reynolds in the outside lane in that 26 Mustang.
Yeah, Jimmy has he does a few races here and there about a while. He's a pretty cool cat. Yeah, I love racing against Jimmy. But he's trying to make his mark here in Area 51. As we almost went about 3 wide into turn number 3 there.
2x2, about 5 to 6 rows deep now at the front of this pack. The 5 climbing back up to the front. He's going to lead this lap. I think that is his first bonus point for a lap led tonight. Seth Groover is
the connection issues. Go ahead.
Seth Groover is currently up 17 points now as he jumps to the lead on the backstretch here. Brian Wang is up 12 at the moment. Those are your highest climbers, and a great push from Brian Wang to give Seth the advantage. As they come through the corner, the inside will be much stronger, but we'll see what kind of momentum the 05 and the 32 will have. See if Seth can grab a lap led, and it looks like he is going to do so. Bonus point for Seth.
Yeah, we do apologize for the connectivity issues. It's more of an iRacing thing. Ever since we had that rain update, there's been tons and tons of people getting online to give it a go. It's been exciting.
Absolutely. Almost had some issues where we had to consider delaying the race on Tuesday night, but thankfully able to get it off as scheduled. As the updates come on Tuesdays, as we see Jimmy Reynolds gets a little loose there through turns 3 and 4, and he's going to have to give up that middle lane now. Put the 25, the 18, the 94, and the 82 on through, as he's going to fade further on back. Rick Sanchez led that lap that time by, getting the push from the 44 of Anthony English and the 88 of Gabe Butler.
They're coming up on Patrick Gruber here.
Finally some company for the 54, as it's been a pretty lonely road since that money shift, downshifting from presumably from 4th to 2nd instead, or from 3rd to 2nd instead of 4th. But it looks like his brother Seth is going to jump up to the top to help his brother get back up to speed and allow him to keep
That's nice of him.
Yeah. Allow him to keep with the lead draft so he doesn't have to go another lap down. Good teamwork there from the dynamic brother duo.
Yeah, it's no fun just sitting there running by yourself, man. You gotta have friends to win these races.
And if not a friend, what better than a sibling?
You're right. I wonder if Mama Gruber's in the chat.
At the front, it has settled out single file for the moment. The 5 of Rick Sanchez being pushed by Anthony English. Now the Groover brothers are the first two in the outside lane, still trying to make that work as we get closer to the first round of green flag pit stops, and we will be very close to also picking up Jacob Lee in the lead draft. So he is now 2 laps down at the moment, but as the leaders pass him, he will be 3 down, as he is 1 more lap down than Patrick is. And
See our boss in the chat, Gael.
Yeah, Gael's having a good night tonight. He's having some fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we have our first pit stop
Yeah.
coming from Seth Groover, actually. Locking up
Wow.
really hard. That seemed like that might have been a little unscheduled. I don't know if he got pushed out of line or if that was scheduled. But he is going to make the lonely trek down to pit road.
I think that was scheduled because I'm getting, a lot of these other guys are going
Coming
to
in
pit
now?
this time. I'm
Okay.
hearing the radios. Yeah. But unfortunately, bad news from the Gruber camp. Seth got caught speeding on pit road.
That is not too surprising with that entry that he had there. We're going to see Rick Sanchez, the 44, come in this time. The 28, Anthony English, Brandon Briggs in the 18. As everyone tries to get down to speed, Dean Wilkinson in this time as well. And that is going to give the lead to Gabe Butler with teammate Brian Wang and Kevin Freese pushing at the moment.
I don't think Mama Gruber approves of that.
Definitely not the blown motor for
speaking of that, here she is in the
Patrick
chat.
at the beginning, yeah. Gabe Butler getting down to speed. Everybody trying to get down to speed. Eric Lorio, bunch of touching and bunch of sliding.
Oh, who is that? The
Very
04?
chaotic.
Just Ambrose Kniebel. Yeah.
A couple cars involved there. The 51 of
Oh.
Jim Brooks, a hard impact for him.
Oh, man.
Back out on the speedway, coming up to speed is Rick Sanchez, Anthony English, Brandon Briggs, Dean Wilkinson, and Nick Wing. Seth Groover had the speeding penalty on his pit stop there. Too fast entering pit road. And he may have gotten, just a 40-second penalty. So a 40-second penalty for Seth Groover. And I think Brian Wang, also a 40-second stop and hold. Gabe Butler, Ambrose Kniebel. Some of those actually may be damage, but those guys are taking a little bit more time. As we're going to see Kevin Freese get back up to speed, and he is going to be our leader as the pit cycle cycles out. The 94 of Maxwell Caldwell will be in second place. The 21, the lap car of Jacob Lee, has a bunch of momentum. Oh, he makes contact with Kevin Freese, and it turns him around. Kevin Freese is going to get shot to the inside wall, and he is going to have a bunch of damage. As Jacob Lee gets around him on the outside, they touch, and Kevin Freese is going to back it down pit road there in reverse. So Maxwell Caldwell is the leader of this race. He has about a 4-second advantage, 3.6 seconds, as Patrick Groover is going to spin coming off a pit road behind them. And a lot of penalties and a lot of commotion from a lot of these drivers coming on and off pit road. It's going to take us a moment to sort this out, but Maxwell Caldwell is currently scored as your leader, 3.5 seconds ahead of the field, getting the push from Seth Groover, who is 1 lap down, so he is actually in the lucky dog spot, can get his lap back if he can pass the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. We are going to watch them put, looks like Jack Walls and the 88 of Gabe Butler down a lap as well, as they spent 55 seconds on pit road, so I would assume that is a 40-second penalty and 15 seconds of 4 tires and fuel. We're going to go back 3.7 seconds to the pack here, which is Anthony English, Brandon Briggs, Rick Sanchez, and Carl Lingle. Bud Steele is just off of this pack and may be able to catch up to it. He's about 1.14 seconds behind at the moment, which is kind of the danger zone for not being able to pick up enough draft, as you see him slowing down a little bit compared to Carl Engel ahead of him. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see if he can catch up there or not. Dean Wilkinson, though, is a couple more seconds back, as we have a yellow
Yellow's
flag on the
out.
speedway. We're going to have to figure out where that happened. It says Gabe Butler has crashed. Rick Sanchez, Bud Steele off track, and Carl Lingle potentially involved as well. And that will make it a little easier for us to sort this out, as we'll watch what happened here, what brought the yellow flag out. We'll try to figure out where it came from, as you see it here in turns 1 and 2. So we're going to rewind this just a little bit. Try to, at least, and see where this all started. Alright, so we see the leader, Maxwell Caldwell, the 88 of Gabe Butler, a little high. It looks like Gabe almost just got loose by himself going into the corner there. Not sure if there was an arrow situation that got him loose or not, but didn't seem like it was a push or anything that got his car. Oh, and then you see Rick Sanchez with the huge impact once the 88 was already stopped. And we'll see Rick comes up, slides up, unfortunately, right in front of, I think that's Carl Lingle. Yeah, Bud Steele narrowly avoiding that, making his way down to the grass. So that's why it said he left the track and came back on track. So thankfully no damage for Bud Steele. And yeah, that was a very interesting incident to wrap up what's been a very interesting start to this race. We're going to jump back live, and we should be seeing pit stops here in just a moment here. But the leader still is Maxwell Caldwell. Everybody on the lead lap is going to catch up here. Anthony English, Brandon Briggs, Bud Steele, Dean Wilkinson, Adam Kilday, Jim Brooks, Jimmy Reynolds, Andrew Pileshi, Ambrose Knebel, and Jack Walls in the top 11 on the lead lap. The first car one lap down looks like it is Rick Sanchez, but I'm not sure. Yeah, he'll be one lap down, and looks like everybody on the lead lap is coming in, and a couple are going to be making a wave around. So Jack Walls, I think. Oh no, they're just catching up. So Jack Walls is actually being scored as the leader at the moment.
So I think Seth got the lucky dog.
Yeah, I think Seth did get the lucky dog because he's already around the pace car, catching back up to the field.
Wow, what some chaos, man.
Yeah, why
Good
don't we
Lord.
let iRacing sort this out, and we'll take a quick commercial break and then try to figure it out ourselves.
Yeah, that sounds like a
I
great
think
idea.
it's a great idea. We'll be right back.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
I think we've got it sorted out now. We can see Jack Walls is going to stay out here. So he pit only 5 laps to go and is going to elect not to pit this time. He actually had a speeding penalty when he came down, so he's fortunate to be on the lead lap. So he is going to take the track position that he has for now and hold on to it. Anthony English is going to line up to his outside in second place. Then Maxwell Caldwell, Brandon Briggs, Ambrose Knebel, Steele Reynolds, Pileshi, Brooks, and Kilday in the top 10. Dean Wilkinson also in 11th on the lead lap. Seth Groover is coming back around to the field, and I think he will be... We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if he'll be tail end of the lead lap or he'll be one lap down or not just yet, but we'll have to figure that out. It's harder to tell. Okay, it does look like Seth, Kevin Freese, and Nick Wing have all made it back to the lead lap. You'll see their times are over a second. Nick's over a minute behind the leaders, but that's just because this track is so large under pace speeds. So
3 mile tractor boomer.
Yeah. It looks like Seth Groover, Kevin Freese, and Nick Wing are going to get back up to the pack and will be on the lead lap. Brian Wang will be the first car one lap down, and there will be, looks like, 5 cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars one lap down from Brian Wang to Gabe Butler, and then 2 or more down is Brandon Paul, Jacob Lee, Patrick Hoover, and Hondo Longmire. Hondo still not being scored and is out for the race. But we've got a restart here with Jack Walls going from a pit road speeding penalty on the green flag pit stop for him. And he is going to take it away here with last week's race winner behind him, giving him the push. Six of Bud Steele, third in line, the 18 of Brandon Briggs now on the inside lane. As there's a 4-car breakaway in the inside lane at the moment. As Bud Steele and Brandon Briggs are going to say, no, we want to try and win this race, or at least lead it for now. Jumping to the high side. Working on lap number 29 of the scheduled distance of 70 laps for tonight. 2 lanes starting to form here at the front of the pack. Jack Wall is being pushed by the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell, Bud Steele, and Brandon Briggs to the outside, joined by the lap car of Jacob Lee, the lap car of Carl Lingle, as Carl Lingle and Jacob Lee are going to try to get to the front of this pack and get a lap back the hard way. Jump into that third lane there. No harm in trying it, as 21 and the 30 are going to still try to work that third groove, as they're losing a little bit of ground this time. Through turns 1 and 2, it's still 83, 94 lined up inside lane. Outside lane is the 6 and the 5. A little further back is the 82 of Andrew Pileshi and the 04 of Amherst Knievel, as Brian Wang is going to jump up to the middle lane. So the 6, the 5, the 05, and the 83, the 94, and the 18. Leading laps around this nearly 3-mile oval, and a bit of a moment there. Big push from the 94. The 83 gets a little wiggle, and we keep rolling.
Ooh.
3 wide forming pretty well now, as Adam Kilday is going to join
Yeah.
that party up there.
Yeah, I get kind of weird when I see those guys enter the corner 3 wide. It's just the banking is so steep when you enter the turns.
Track is definitely wide enough for it, but you really have to be cognizant to throw the car in the corner.
Yeah.
Then,
No, you got it.
Seth Groover is going to go around.
That's yellow.
And collects it early on. A couple cars are absolutely junk for that one. We're going to see if we can take it back. And watch. You see Seth already loose here at this point. Touches
Yeah,
the
he
82.
just loses it.
Ooh, just barely tags the 21, who's already had a tough night. The 85 gets a little bit of contact there as well.
Wow.
Jacob Lee there comes down into the pack. He's going to make contact with the 26, the 071. and a bunch of others, as that is absolute carnage for quite a few cars. The 85 involved,
Ouch.
the 21, the 25, I don't know how he got through that. That is incredible. The 51 is probably going to, well, no, he looks like he's okay on the front end, but there's a couple cars that have definitely used up their fast repairs. I can't believe that Kevin Freese got through that unharmed. And Nick Wing gets a little bit of front end damage, but not as
Wow.
bad as some of the others. Honestly, one of the cars involved that had the least amount of damage was probably Seth Groover, because he spun out of harm's way, and when he tagged Jacob Lee got sent down to the inside, no fault of either of them at that point, and it looks like Seth is actually going to be able to make it out here okay. The 26 Jimmy Reynolds we saw here with a very wrecked race car. And we'll jump back live now to see most of the field coming down pit road. Jack Walls, Bud Steele, Maxwell Caldwell still leading the field here.
Got a couple cars staying out.
Yeah.
Try to. Looks like Gabe is going to stay out, try to get one of those 2 laps back.
Looks like it. Everybody down pit road at the moment. Bud Steele is going to get away first off of pit road. Brandon Briggs will join him, then Jack Walls, then Maxwell Caldwell, and Andrew Pileshi. Anthony English, Ambrose Knievel, Seth Groover, and Jim Brooks extended stays here on pit road for damage. As we'll wait to sort this out once again and take a quick commercial break.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
A wave around for the 05 and the 88 as they'll get a lap back each. I think putting them back on the lead. No, the Gabe Butler not on the lead lap. Brian Wang potentially on the lead lap. We'll see how it sorts out here. Bud Steele, we saw him come off of pit road first. Brandon Briggs, Jack Wells, Maxwell Caldwell, and Andrew Pileshi here, as most of the field electing to pit this caution sequence, except for Brian Wang and Gabe Butler, who are getting an extra lap back here. So we'll see Rick Sanchez still on the lead lap. Adam Kilday and Nick Wing are still on pit road, but also on the lead lap as they are leaving now. Ambrose Knievel on the lead lap. I think Ambrose may have actually been the lucky dog. No, he was. Well, we'll figure it out. But Brian Wang getting back to the lead lap here. Nick Wing should be on the lead lap. Anthony English and Seth Groover should be on the lead lap here now. And then Jeremy Osborne will be the first car 1 lap down. So we've got 14 drivers now back on the lead lap as we will approach the halfway point when we take the green flag. Bud Steele taking fuel only on this yellow flag, as well as Brandon Briggs, and they will be your front row as they get up through the gearbox. Back up to speed we are at iRacing Superspeedway. So Nick Wing will be the last car on the lead lap here. The tail end of the whole pack altogether. Jeremy Osborne, Eric Laurie, Carl Lingle, and Jimmy Reynolds, as well as Gabe Butler, who will be battling for the lucky dog. They are all only 1 lap down at the moment. Brandon Paul is 2 laps down. Patrick Groover is quite a few more laps down, as he's going to have to come back down pit road here. Jacob Lee is no longer being scored, it looks like, so he may have retired for the night. And assuming for Patrick Groover there, he's coming in, could be a penalty that he had to serve, that you have to serve under green flag conditions, so the quick yellows that we had here could have been why he couldn't serve that yet.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm probably taking it's going to be a little bit of brother love.
Maxwell Caldwell jumps out to the lead here with the push from Bud Steele, Jack Walls, Andrew Pileshi, and Dean Wilkinson, your top 5. A few of them started up here. Bud Steele and Jack Walls. A couple are up quite a few spots as Dean Wilkinson's found his way plus 18 on the night. Maxwell Caldwell plus 14. Brandon Briggs also plus 18 in the 6th position. As Dean and Brandon are working together in the outside lane, Ford and a Toyota. Sorry, a Ford and a Camaro. And they may actually get a lap led here for the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. Big push from the 18 there. Bonus point for the 55 TW Motorsports Ford Mustang.
It's nice to see that 55 back up toward front, and 94. How about that?
Last week's race winner.
Yeah, you know what we forgot to do.
Pre-race
interview? I usually pull in. I usually do a pre-race interview, but since the update, I've been having a lot of connectivity issues, so we'll wait till next week on that.
We do have a lap car that will be rejoining the field here. That is the 54 of Patrick Groover, so he's going to continue on. As we're trying to go 3 wide to get around him, and we're going to have a wreck behind him.
Oh, boy.
Green flag is still out.
Wow, it just got loose. It's just like what happened to Seth.
Yeah.
It like just right in the middle lane, it just took right off.
Try and find this here. We'll see how that goes. See if we can figure out. Yep, there we go. So the 30. So we'll watch the 30 of Carl Lingle and rewind it just again, just to see how that came through. So you see Dean Wilkinson in the outside lane trying to get down to avoid, and the 18 and the 30 just going for the same lane, trying to avoid the lap car of Patrick here as they get in the corner. And the 30 goes for a spin.
Yeah, it just I don't know.
His teammate, unfortunately, in the 41.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate for him.
Yeah. So 2 guys just kind of going for the same space, unfortunately. And I don't think anybody else was involved in that incident.
No, not that I have seen.
Osborne had a little bit of contact there, but it looks like he'd be able to continue on with the lead pack. So we'll jump back live, full speed here. And no, actually, that was enough to knock him off of the back of the draft. So at the front of this pack is going to be the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell, Bud Steele, Jack Walls, Rick Sanchez, Andrew Pileshi, all the way back through at least 8th place in the lead pack. Seth Groover is about 1.7 seconds off the leader and 1.0 seconds, but he's got his brother now, and they should be able to catch back up to the lead pack as this second pack is forming here with Brian Wayne, Kevin Freese, the lap car of Gabe Butler in between them, and Nick Wing. Another 5.5 seconds back, it's Adam Kilday with the lap car of Eric Laurie. And you see Brandon Paul there, another lap car trying to join the mix. Ambrose Kniebel all alone by himself, about 27 seconds off the lead and growing. Jim Brooks is another 4 seconds back off that, and I believe both of these guys are quite a bit under power as they're running about 4 to 5 seconds off of the leader's pace. Jimmy Reynolds here is going to be the first car 1 lap down once the pack catches Ambrose Kniebel and Jim Brooks. And then Gabe Butler is also going to be 1 lap down, and Jeremy Asman all the way on through. So we've got 3 wide action here.
Speaking of Gabe Butler, they're pitting.
They are pitting this time. Gabe Butler, Brian Wayne, Kevin Freese. As we are 2x2, 4 rows deep here in the lead pack. Rick Sanchez back up to the front here. Dean Wilkinson in the outside lane. Still the push from Brandon Briggs. The 5 and the 94 on the inside lane. As the 55 is going to jump down to the bottom now this time. The 05, the 25, and the 88 completing their pit stops. Working on lap number 44. A lot of the field, pretty much everybody in the field pit last on lap 32. Do you think that's a bit of a kind of playing it back from playing it backwards from the finish, Matt, for Team Tanaka?
Well,
because with 45 to go, they should only have to pit one more time.
Yeah. Well, I think they're really just trying to favor to stay out of trouble. Those guys 3 running together. So I would probably predict I think they wanted to stay out of the pack, just in case another caution would come out or any kind of wrecks would happen. And they would try to keep the 88 of Gabe Butler, try to get his lap back. Try doing it, the hard way. And when these guys pit, hopefully, these guys will come out with the leads. That would be my guess.
Single file here in the lead pack with 25 laps to go. Dean Wilkinson, Rick Sanchez, Maxwell Caldwell, Bud Steele, and Jack Walls, the top 5.
It's a big gamble.
Big gamble indeed. The top 9 are in this lead pack here. 10th and 11th are about 10 seconds off the pace. And pretty much everybody behind that is at least 1 lap down. Yeah, it was kind of interesting to see. I guess, Gabe. So, okay, yeah, I know why. Gabe Butler and Brian Wang both did not pit on the last yellow flag pit cycle, so they may have actually needed to come down. Whereas most of the rest of the field pit last at lap 32, which means they only need to stretch 38 laps between that and the end. So everybody should be pitting only one more time here, and that window should open up in about 4 laps. So that was why the 25 or the 05 and the 88 for sure needed to pit. The 25 may or may not have been in that situation and may have just pitted with his
Okay.
teammates, not sure. But Gabe Butler and Brian Wang set out to get a wave around, and that is why they had to come down pit road.
Well, it's kind of working out for them because I'm watching their lap time to compare to the leaders. They are 8/10 of a second faster than our top 11.
The only problem for them is they will have to pit one more time.
They would probably have to either beg for a caution.
Yeah, because they're going to have to stretch this 28 laps, and I don't think there's any way that they could do that.
No, it's
not even close.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But you never know.
The ticker has switched over to counting down in the final third of the race here. 22 laps to go. Dean Wilkinson with Rick Sanchez still pushing, along with Maxwell Caldwell. The outside lane is the lap car of Patrick Groover, pushed by the 18 of Brandon Briggs. Definitely props to Patrick for still staying out there and hanging with it. It's not the most fun thing when you're that far down.
Oh my God, we do have a car. We do have a car pitting, but he got nabbed for speeding again.
Definitely not the night for the Groover brothers, unfortunately.
Oh no, not at all. I would probably I'd be so mad.
Continuing on the speedway, the 55 and the 5 and the 94 still lined up nose to tail. Getting very close to the window opening for pit stops to the end. Seth Groover trying to be one of the first to pit last, but unfortunately the speeding penalty for him is going to be a 40-second stop and hold as 55 of Dean Wilkinson jumps the outside. That is going to let the 5 of Rick Sanchez on through with the help of Maxwell Caldwell and Bud Steele. "20 laps to go, and the window to go to the end is open." Amherst Kniebel and Jim Brooks are going to come down pit road together.
I would probably do it here in the next maybe couple laps just to be safe. But these guys are pitting now.
The 5 of Rick Sanchez is going to peel off with the 44 of Anthony English and Dean Wilkinson. A little bit of a lockup, but they're fairly organized as they get on pit road here for their final stop of the night. Maxwell Caldwell will continue on in the speedway and inherit the lead. His first lap sled of the night. Bud Steele, Jack Walls, Andrew Pileshi, Brandon Briggs, top 5. Nick Wing and Adam Kilday in this
second set of lap sled.
I don't believe he was at the front before.
He was. But they are pitting this time by their boss.
94 and the 82. Ooh, big lockup for the 82. Big lockup for the 18.
Oh, Brandon makes contact with the wall. Hopefully he does have a fast repair save because he may need it.
Andrew Pileshi leapfrogs his teammate getting on to pit road. And we'll see if there are any penalties that come from that. And this is going to leave Bud Steele and Jack Walls by themselves with a couple lap cars in and around. As they're going to come down this time by. So Maxwell Caldwell is going to come out first of the previous set of pit stops. And here it comes. Brian Wang and Kevin Freese, who should be able to cycle back to the lead here. They are going to have to pit one more time, we would presume, based on the fact that they last pit on lap 42 and had to go 38 laps to the end, with our pit window being somewhere in the 20 lap distance. But for now, they are going to inherit the lead.
Yeah, I'm quite interested to see the gaps are after they all cross the start-finish line. See how much time they got to work with. I know they've been clicking up some huge amount of fast laps here, and just quite curious.
So the 05 is going to pass now for the lead, and we're going to see that gap grow. We'll pay attention to them for a minute as they get up to speed. As Bud Steele is going to be just behind them. Actually, scratch that. It's going to be Maxwell Caldwell and Rick Sanchez now, who should cycle back to the lead once Kevin Freese and Brian Wang pit. They are a two-car tandem by themselves, though, as they had enough momentum to escape Jack Walls and company behind them. We'll see if the bigger pack allows them to catch back up or not.
Yeah, it won't be long till they catch him because they are coming in a hurry.
So Brian Wang, Kevin Freese, and the lap car of Gabe Butler. We'll see what they run speed-wise this time by. They've been running in the low 44-second bracket.
Yeah, just about every lap. Yeah.
44.19 that time by. Maxwell Caldwell crosses the stripe and runs a 45.18, a whole second slower. But the pack behind them is catching very quickly here, as you see. The 26, the 32 gonna have to jump on a line. Those guys are lap cars. So Bud Steele in the 6 is actually the next car on the lead lap. And it looks like Adam Kilday actually ran the fastest lap of the race that last time by, catching up to that draft of this second pack. And him and Nick Wing are going to rejoin. And it looks like Brandon Briggs and Patrick Groover are going to lose that draft of that second pack. So this first pack here is Brian Wang and Kevin Freese, who still, again, need to pit one more time. There is a group in between the two of some of the Blind Squirrel Racing drivers who are lap down or more. But Maxwell Caldwell is leading this second pack at the moment of the drivers who do not need to pit anymore. Rick Sanchez, Jack Walls, and Adam Kilday, as well as Bud Steele and Anthony English, are here, as well as Nick Wing. And those names we just listed are likely going to be the ones who will race this out for the victory. Brian Wang and Kevin Freese still needing to pit here at some point in time as they enjoy a 6-second lead.
Richard Sanchez got kicked out of line there, but look, the real race there, Boomer, is probably the second pack.
Yeah, these guys will be inheriting the lead once the 05 and the 25 run out of fuel here in probably a few more laps.
Yep.
Maxwell Caldwell has it at the moment, Jack Walls just behind him. Anthony English. Rick Sanchez in the 5 with the 85 behind him. So they're going to catch the Blind Squirrel Racing teammates. The 41 and the 04. The 5 and the 85 regrouping in the outside lane and trying to see what they can do to get to the front of this pack here. Even in this pack draft that they have right now, okay, that time they were, some of the drivers in this pack were a tenth faster than Brian Wang and Kevin Freese, but that duo of Brian Wang and Kevin have been incredibly fast just as a 3-car pack. They now have a 7-second gap to the pack that you see on your screen here, who we mentioned will inherit the lead once Kevin and Brian likely have to pit at the end here, assuming they cannot go 28 laps on fuel to end this.
Yeah, all that time they're gaining is it's gonna be tough.
The 5 and the 85 get the push on the high side and are clear down to the bottom. And they are going to lead this from the inside lane. Rick Sanchez, Adam Kilday, Maxwell Caldwell third in line. Bud Steele working on the high line with 28 of Nick Wing. 83 of
Well,
Jack
here
Walls
come
and the
our
44
leaders.
of Anthony English also in this pack. And yep, there you go. The 05, the 25, and the 88 making their final pit stop. Staying out to get the lap led earlier under yellow flag conditions. You see Maxwell makes a big block to the high side to cut off the momentum of the 6 and jump to the lead of that side. So we've got 8 laps to go. We've got 7 drivers in this lead pack, a couple lap cars mixed in, sprinkled in here, if you will. A couple more still on the lead lap, but further back in the pack. Dean Wilkinson and Andrew Pileshi are 10 seconds off the pace. Brandon Briggs, 13. Brian Wang and Kevin Freese are settling out to be somewhere in the 30 seconds off the pace range. Jimmy Reynolds and Seth Groover are 1 lap down, but they are here in the mix with this lead draft, trying to battle for the lucky dog. But last week's winner is leading them all around the 3-mile speedway as the 6 of Bud Steele jumps to the outside to try and challenge, but without any help is going to fade back a little bit. Gets the pusher of the 28 car. But that clears the 5 and the 85 now. Single file in the inside lane, and the 44 is going to follow.
Max trying to go for 2 for 2, huh? But here comes Anthony English on the outside, but he's got no help.
None at the moment, as the 5 finds his way to the inside. Roots Maxwell Caldwell off of the bottom, and he's going to take back the lead here. The 94 and the 44 are going to have to find some partners in each other. 6 laps to go. It'll be 5 as we cross the stripe. The 5 is leading the race, followed by the 85 and the 6. Six getting the push from Maxwell Caldwell.
It's going to be tough with them 2 cars just on the outside with teammates 85 and the 5 pushing each other on the inside lane. But here comes the 44 to make it a 3-car pack, possibly a 4th with Jimmy Reynolds there in the 26.
5 and the 85 with the 28 trying to work the bottom. The 6 and 94 and the 44 line up on the outside lane. The advantage to Rick Sanchez that time by. We've got 4 laps to go. Just 12 more miles in the original scheduled distance of 70 laps here in the Area 51 Xfinity Superspeedway Series on Thursday nights.
I would say that was a heck of a bump on the 94. The lead on the 6 there. And now he's got the advantage going into turn number 3.
6 is clear. As the 5 and the 94 even through turns 3 and 4. Bud Steele, the momentum to lead this lap. And the 94 and the 6 should be clear down to the bottom if they want it. 3 to go. The 94 is going to take it. Jump in front of the 5, leaving the 6 and the 44 to have to work together in the outside lane. 3 laps to go.
I bet you 80. Yeah, I bet you that 85 got a little bit warm there, pushing Rick Sanchez there. Lucky he's got a little bit of help to help cool that motor with the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell taking the lead and going down to the bottom.
Again, there are 7 drivers in this lead pack with the opportunity to win it. Maxwell Caldwell is going to lead us 2 laps to go this time by. The help from the other Chevrolets of Rick Sanchez and Adam Kilday. There's a Ford, a Chevy, and a Toyota in the outside lane. And then Jack Wall's 4th car in the inside lane. Those are your drivers that are going to settle this one tonight. 2 laps to go. We should get the white flag this time by.
Oh no, Rick's got a pit? He's short on fuel?
Rick Sanchez coming in to pit this time by as the white flag flies. That breaks up the inside lane quite a bit. Bud Steele with the advantage with Anthony English to his inside. Anthony no help, but the 94 is going to get there in a moment. A big shove coming down the back stretch as he's going to get the 44 squirrely, and they are now 3 wide. In the middle, it's going to be Maxwell Caldwell as he jumps back down.
He barely clears the 44. He's got the inside. He's got the advantage on the inside line.
The 6 and the 28 lined up in the outside lane. The 94 and the 44 with the momentum on the bottom. It's going to be a drag race to the finish line as they keep wrecking down the front straightaway. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Jack Walls? Jack Walls gets through the chaos.
Oh my God.
And grabs a race win. I don't think that finish could be any more of an end cap to what this race was. Holy cow. Wow. We're going to rewatch that finish here in slow-mo and see if we can get a better camera angle of how it came through here. So we're going to back this up a little bit for you here. So you see them side by side, side drafting the crap out of each other. The 94 jumps up just a little bit out of line, and the 44 gets underneath him and gets the 94 a little bit loose, and the 6 and the 28 almost do the same thing as they all come together in the middle here. The 6 and the 94 colliding, the 28 getting collected still straight as now the 6 and the 94 get turned. They make contact with the 44 and the 85 in the inside lane. The 26 gets wrapped up in it, and that's going to allow the 83 on through with Nick Wing just barely losing enough momentum to get to the finish there. Jack Walls avoids contact from about 7th place to win it off of turn number 4.
That's nuts. I think that's only the second time I've seen that happen in Area 51. That's
yeah,
crazy.
You saw it happen twice there where I think it was there's the Bud Steele and Nick Wing got disconnected, and the
Yeah,
94 and the 44 got disconnected and got side by side, and then just kind of hooked bumpers, unfortunately,
yeah.
and collided together.
So, so what I thought was 28 when it came out the corner, it shot the 6 up the track and it left the middle lane open, and it looked like the 28 was going for that gap that was there, and that hole just
Closed up.
closed immediately, and
Yeah,
and
too
just all
fast.
chaos. Yeah,
Well, we've got a few interviews with a few names we might be a
I'm,
little surprised
mhm.
about.
I'm glad to see Jack Wells win though. That's good on him.
As we'll get organized here. We'll have a couple Roswell Motorsports drivers. Actually, I'm just realizing it. It is a party for the Roswell Motorsports drivers as we're pulling everybody up from the same channel here for interviews, starting with the number 6 of Bud Steele coming home in the 3rd place. Bud, we saw you have a pretty solid drag race there with the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell on that final lap. Take us through how that finish looked from your perspective.
Well, it was looking good there for a minute. uh, I, yeah, would have liked that to win, but I'm just glad we came across backwards for third.
Were you actually backwards when you crossed the stripe there? You were sideways at least, I know, but it wasn't actually backwards.
Yeah, I
Wow,
was watching it, and
that's
yeah,
crazy.
both myself and Max. Max got a bump, and I got a bump kind of at the same time, and shot us there together. And uh, it'd have been nice just to run it all the way to the line clean. But congrats to my man Jack. He hung in there and was patient and got to win. So good job, Jack.
Yeah, we were kind of calling it on the broadcast as I think a fairly fitting finish to what was a pretty crazy race there. I think for the most part, you seem like you were able to kind of avoid a lot of the chaos. The car looks really clean compared to others, and yeah, were you expecting it to be this much calamity tonight?
Uh, not not this much, but I thought there'd be a couple cautions. I got damage from I avoided someone. I know Gabe was sideways in the turn, and I went to the apron, and I touched the grass in the infield. And I don't know if it's something with the new build, but it like tore the whole front suspension out from under my car. I
Oh,
could barely make
really?
it back to the pits. Yeah.
Okay, because we saw you go off in the grass, and I actually said on the broadcast that I assumed that you were okay when that happened. So, wow, that's interesting.
No, I couldn't hardly get it back to the pits, and then when I got there, uh, I couldn't hardly get stopped. So don't go in the grass anymore. So
Okay, good to know. Yeah,
yeah.
because like I said, I mean, I saw you go off pretty innocently in the grass. That was the only contact that you made in the caution. But okay, all right, so that makes sense then. Didn't realize you had to burn your fast repair. That's definitely earlier than you'd like to burn it for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. But it seemed like racing, staying up front, was definitely the thing to do here, and it paid off within. No mistakes on the pit stops, and get a good in and out, and um, I guess that's why I normally do pretty well here at this speedway. So yeah, one of those things.
Yeah, that's a great point to bring up. We've seen you do pretty well. I think I know you've got a couple wins. I think here at iRacing Superspeedway. I know of at least one in recent memory. But this track has definitely seemed to favor you in this series. Is this kind of one that you circle on the schedule as far as trying to be one of
Oh,
your best tracks and trying to capitalize on that?
oh yeah, yeah. I definitely look forward to coming here, it's usually, I don't know, it just fits my style, I guess. But this and even Atlanta in an odd way kind of favor, but it's just not the typical super speedways, So just got to do some driving.
Good deal. Well, I know you're pretty solid in the points coming in tonight in eighth place. Obviously, a third place finish should boost that just a little bit there. Pretty solid as you get into the playoff picture here. 16 drivers are going to enter the playoffs to be eligible for the championship. How do you kind of shift focus to that and focus on those 4 races to try and win that championship?
Well, yeah, just get there first, and then it's like everybody's tied, and just try to put your best 4 races together without any mistakes.
Well, good deal. We'll hope to see you guys do well in that as we've got a couple cars for you. It looks like in a good spot in the playoff position, but want to give you one last chance and roll out that red carpet for any thanks or shout-outs for that third place finish tonight, bud.
Well, thanks to all my teammates. I think we went 1, 2, 3, and Jim had a bit of an off night. He's like Mr. Consistent, so he had a problem early, and Ryan Decker, he wasn't able to make the race because he had to do that update and didn't have time to do it and get in the race. So Jack and Nick, good job, guys, and we'll go on to here.
Good deal, bud. Well, it's good talking to you again, and hope to talk to you again soon.
Thanks, sir. Have a good one.
You too. Alrighty. Next up will be the 28 of Nick Wing. Another teammate here for the Roswell Motorsports drivers. Coming home in a very solid second place. Definitely, we already talked to Bud a little bit about some of the chaos that we saw, but take us through what it looked like from your perspective in the driver's seat.
Chaos, usually what we get at this track.
Seemed like this is one that your teammate Bud is always circling on the calendar that he mentioned to come to. Seems like maybe not quite as much of a favorite for you based on your initial comments there.
I have a pretty good string of luck here lately. I have a win in the second. Now I'm just wishing for a third.
There you go. Well, definitely was an eventful one that we saw. We saw a lot of guys get caught up in some chaos at a couple points in time, and I'll be honest, from all that we saw, I don't remember if you were caught up in any of that at all or not.
Yeah, I took a car to the face when I was when they were sliding down, trying to check up, and well, nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when that happens. I actually think I do remember that now. That was the second yellow, is that correct?
Yep, Jim was on the inside, and somebody else was rolling down the track.
Yes.
And they're sitting right there, and I had nowhere to go.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes that's just the luck of it. But obviously, the car looks pretty clean now, so you're able to stay out of trouble after the fast repair was taken, I assume.
Yep, and I spun coming off pit road too.
Oh, okay. I don't know if we actually saw that on the broadcast, but was that okay. Yeah, I apologize.
It's the first green flag pit stop.
The first green flag pit stop. Okay. I apologize. It's a crazy race. It's been a lot to focus on, but I mean, you guys seem like you were in a pretty good spot there towards the later stages and through the final green flag pit cycle there. You guys kind of put yourself in position to win, and even though there was a lot of chaos early on, kind of shaped up later, and you guys were there at the end when it counted.
Yep, got to be there at the end to actually try to win it.
Absolutely, and yeah, it was. I mean, like I said, it's been a very eventful broadcast to watch. But did you think you had a pretty good position as you were coming back through the last couple laps there, where you were lined up?
I figured that there was something not going to happen, but then once we got to that outside, Jack was telling Bud, "You want to get down low?" And Bud said no, so we stayed to that outside. And when they got that run on the coming off 4, I told Bud he better get down low and take it and block it. He hesitated, and well, he slid up a little bit, and I stuck my nose there to keep him down low, and they wrecked.
Yeah, we saw them wreck as him and the 94 got together there. We saw you have a decent amount of momentum, but not quite enough to get back to Jack Walls. At that point, were you thinking that you kind of saw the light at the end of the tunnel in front of you and thinking that you had a good shot at it?
Oh, I figured once I seen somebody pass me, I was like, I didn't win this one, but hey, teammate that one, so I'm all good.
Yeah, that definitely helps. But well, definitely don't blame you for trying to put it there in the middle and trying to get all you could. But thankfully, not too much damage done for you, and you're able to come home in the second place position there, Nick. Want to roll out that red carpet for you now and give any opportunities for thanks or shoutouts for that podium placing tonight.
I'd like to thank my teammates and you, of course, for the great broadcast, and have a wonderful day.
We appreciate that, Nick, and congratulations once again.
Yep.
Alrighty, we've got one more interview, and based off of the way he entered turn 3, I don't think he was expecting to be the one who won this race tonight, but it is going to be the 83 of Jack Walls, sitting in 7th for the last couple laps, waiting in the shadows, just hoping for something to happen, and it all unfolded in front of you, Jack.
Yes, it did. Just as Nick and I had it planned. Before the race, I told him if he was up near the front, and I was way back to cause a big wreck right before the finish line, so I could win the race.
There you go.
Yeah.
Did he tell you I was going to say that?
No, he didn't.
No.
No. My plan was just to help Bud and Nick and Jim, our teammates, and stay with them as best I could. I don't normally like racing at this track, so I wasn't trying to win. But coming out of turn 4, I didn't like the way it looked with those 6 cars up there in front. I said, I'm going to go up near the wall just in case they wreck, and it worked out.
Yeah, that was crazy. I don't think from the way you entered turn 3 that, well, who knows, maybe because you went up to the high side you thought it was going to happen, but it was definitely a surprise to us to call your name out and see you cross the line first, but all you had to do was just stay out of trouble.
Yeah, that's all I had to do. Luckily, they didn't come up towards me when they were wrecking.
Yeah, there you
My
go.
goodness.
Yeah, but my car ran pretty good tonight. I was near the front most of the time, and the race was fun, like racing with these guys, and it was a good race for me. I haven't won here in the Area 51 in a while, so it was good to get one in the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Yep. I'm sorry. So I know what it feels like not to win for a while. So, I got a question for you. I know not winning for a while it hurts after a while, but after getting this win, it kind of locks yourself in the playoffs there, Jack. I'm really proud, to see you run up front again. You laugh, it's great. Like I said, a win does cure a lot of problems here. But going into this race, how do you feel about running against all the Team Boot Knocker guys? I mean, come on,
Team
those
who?
guys has got to feel great, though. Come on, man.
What team? Who? Boot?
Oh, the Team Boot Knockers. Kevin, Gabe Butler, and Brian Wang, and all them.
Yeah. It's tough seeing them guys up front all the time, and as another team, you're trying to figure out what can you do different to get ahead of those guys, at some point. And
right.
Sometimes it's luck, and sometimes it's just good coordination and being in the right place at the right time. But that's what makes it fun.
That is.
If
I
you
know
were,
how that is.
it would get boring if you were winning all the time. So if you got somebody to shoot for, that makes it a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's exactly what happened to me. Yep.
Definitely seemed like you put yourself in a good position, and I apologize because there was so much chaos. I don't think you were involved in any of that, but I think you stayed out. Was it the first yellow you stayed out to get some track position? Is that correct?
Well, I stayed out. I think I that first pit stop, I got speeding
Speeding
penalty.
penalty, right? Okay.
And then I came out, it was right at the end of the tail at the lead lap. And I figured, well, it was telling me to wait for the 3 car. I was going to pit, but it says the 3 car, and I couldn't see the 3 car in my relative. So I just decided to stay out so I wouldn't get a penalty by entering pit road. So that was luck there.
But Jack,
That is
guess
too
what?
funny.
You didn't get hit at all. You had a clean race there, bud. No
Yeah,
one,
good race.
no one bumped you or nothing, or nice
No,
little 0x. That's
no.
gotta feel good.
Yeah, I led some laps, 0x. I guess I hit the trifecta tonight. I better go buy a lottery card or something.
There you go.
But no, it's fun, the race with these guys. I look forward to the Sundays and Thursday nights when I'm here at home. But I do travel a bit, so in the next couple of weeks I'll be out of town. So if I make the playoffs, I'll probably end up giving up my spot again.
Oh, can't no.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how it works out.
Any thanks to Chad would like to do, Jack, before you sign you off here?
Yeah, thanks to everybody. Thanks to my teammates, Bud, Nick, Jim. Poor Jim had a bad race tonight, but he's usually up there. I think he was up towards the front last Sunday, but thanks to them. And thanks for you guys for broadcasting. Makes it interesting.
We appreciate it, Jack, and congratulations once again to you. Hopefully talking to you again soon.
10-4. What's the payout for this race tonight? $1,000?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I
$1,000 Area 51 dollars. That's what it is.
Ooh,
redeemable
sounds good.
At the Area 51 store. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, have a good night, guys.
Yeah, you too. Jack.
All right, man.
Congrats.
See you, Jack.
Good night.
What a classy. How
Yeah.
classy, man.
That was fun. Yeah, he was in the right place at the right time and saw the chaos unfold in front of him. And that was a great call on his part to just stay pointed straight and get the race win tonight. So you'll see Jack Walls at the top of the leaderboard. We talked to his teammates Nick Wing and Bud Steele of Roswell Motorsports. The sweep of the podium. Anthony English, the first car off the podium, and Maxwell Caldwell in the 5th position. Wasn't meant to be for those guys as they were trying to battle it out at the end of the line. We saw the 28 get to the inside of the 6 and the 44 to the inside of the 94 almost simultaneously, and upsetting those 2 cars, making contact pretty much all together, collecting Adam Kilday as well, and that allowed the 83 of Jack Walls to slide on through and emerge victorious. Nick Wing, not enough to have enough momentum there to pass his teammate. Adam Kilday there is going to be in the 6th position, mentioned caught up in a little bit of the chaos off of turn number 4. Andrew Pileshi there in that second pack just edges out Dean Wilkinson for the 7th and 8th positions. We saw Brandon Briggs there about 35 seconds off the pace, and then Brian Wang and Kevin Freese, last cars on the lead lap, who had to pit coming to the about 10 laps to go. Rick Sanchez had to pit on the white flag with 1 lap to go. He's going to come home in the 12th position after having a very solid night for him and the pole. Unfortunate to not have enough fuel in that Chevrolet to bring it all the way back around. Seth Groover had a bit of an up and down night, settling for the 13th position, 1 lap down for him. Jimmy Reynolds caught up in at least, I think, 1 of the yellows. But he's going to stay 1 lap down. Gabe Butler caught up in a few incidents as well as his teammate Eric Laurie in the 071. And see Jeremy Osborne and Brandon Paul in the 17th and 18th positions. Very eventful, almost hard to remember everything that happened here towards the back of the pack. But Jim Brooks, his teammates mentioned he had a lot of troubles tonight. Amber Sneebel getting collected a couple times. We saw Patrick Groover there in 21st. Had the that motor blown issue at the very beginning of the race, and Carl Lingle having to retire early for Blind Squirrel Racing, 32 laps down in the 22nd position, and then the Highlighter brothers of Jacob Lee and Hondo Longmire unfortunately having quite a few woes for them, coming home 42 and 68 laps down respectively, and then Bob Fitzgerald not taking to the starting grid for tonight. So a very, very eventful finish to this one, Matt. This was a lot of chaos, and it's almost hard to remember, like I said, everything that that happened through that whole 70-lap run.
Yeah, like I said, there was a gap. The hole closed quite quickly, and then chaos ensued. But I'm glad to see the old man Jack Walls come home with a victory there. That's great medicine for him. Great medicine. But overall, the race, there was a lot of chaos. There was we had a little bit of hiccups there. We do apologize for the little hiccups. That's a lot of connectivity issues, probably mostly on iRacing's part. But hopefully they'll get that sorted out, and we'll have a better broadcast by Sunday.
Yeah, we will see definitely quite a few issues with, well, not issues, but I mean, I guess it's not necessarily a problem that a bunch of people are using iRacing now with the rain update that you mentioned there, Matt.
Oh yeah.
So it's cool to see everybody using the sim and having some fun with that. But we're gonna be off for a week here, as we're going to come back and actually no, sorry, we're gonna run one more race before the off week. So the schedule will have Talladega next week on the 14th, and that will set the 16-car field for the playoffs in the final 4 races at Atlanta, Daytona, iRacing, Superspeedway, and Talladega. And we will wait and see who is going to take home a playoff spot in the top 16. We'll try to update that points battle throughout the night next week. Then after that, March 21st, we will have off again before we start that 4-week stint in the playoffs there. On Sunday nights, we've still got the Super Truck Series going as well. They're going to be at iRacing Superspeedway this week, so they're kind of offset towards the back of the week, so they're behind the Thursday series, and then they will run March 17th. They'll run Talladega before they get their 4 weeks of playoffs with no break in between there. So we are all systems go for playoff Superspeedway action ramping up on Thursdays and Sunday nights here. And then we've got the IndyCar series on Tuesdays. Definitely a solid championship battle shaping up, as Bruno has now won 3 races in a row there on Tuesday nights. And they will be at Las Vegas. Sorry, actually, excuse me, Auto Club Speedway next week. So coming off the Nashville Super Speedway race, they'll be out in California at Auto Club next Tuesday. And yeah, a little bit of a quick highlight for the Tuesday, the Thursday, and the Sunday series we have here on Green White Checkered TV at Area 51. Solid action 3 nights a week, and we appreciate everybody who supports us, as we know a lot of the drivers are watching this back on replay or even jumping in after the race, or a lot of drivers rewatch it after the fact, and a lot of people are chiming in during the race and adding their commentary. So we appreciate all of you and all of your support here at Green White Checker TV and Area 51. And as you see the finish, they come across the stripe one more time on your screen. Jack Walls barely beats a teammate of Nick Wing to come home victorious with all of the smoke and chaos behind them. But for us tonight, and a very eventful broadcast for myself, Boomer Logan, and my friend Matt Wagner, we are going to sign off and say good night and have a great week.